It's Wednesday night of band camp, and you know what that means. The Cousino snare line has to get their sticks taped for the marching band show. Hello, my name is Isaac Reckerly. I'm the center snare of Cousino High School's 26-27 drumline, and today I'll be taking you through the process of taping the Cousino candy stick style for snare sticks. The Cousino candy stick has been a tradition for many years of the style that we tape our sticks. So first off, what you're going to want to do is you want to start off having your stick. This season we're using the ProMark Scott Johnston System Blues. And the first thing you're going to do is have a red roll of tape. By the way, you need red, white, and blue Cousino colors, some scissors, as well as your sticks. You're going to start with red, and you're going to go to the left, starting here and going all the way down to this little symbol at the stick. I'm going to start it right under the very tip here. Just like that. And I'm going to go downwards to the left, making sure that the tape is slightly overlapping so there's no gap in the sticks. For example, here, it's hard to see, but there's this little space that I missed and I didn't overlap. What you could just do is you could pull the tape back and then re-angle the way you're taping. Just like that. So now it's overlapping and that space is gone. As you can see where I'm cutting it off, I'm going to end up finishing this wrap right above that little symbol, which, for example, if you're doing like a Vic Firth stick, it'd probably be right above the flag where you hold your fulcrum. We're going to go ahead and cut this off here. So now that we have this base layer of red, we just went to the left. Now we're going to reinforce it with another layer of red and go to the right this time. This second layer of red, the overlapping design, doesn't need to be as precise or as perfect because there's already another layer of red and there's not going to be any gaps in the tape. You still want to try your best though to try and have a neat kind of angle and line on this tape. Gonna cut it off right here. Now that we have this full, sturdy, double taped layer of red, you could set aside this red tape, and now we're just going to be using the white and blue. So we're going to start with our blue tape, but first I just want to show you the angle of how you're going to be doing it on the stick. So it is a quite steep angle. It's like that almost going down the stick. And as you can see, at any point of the stick, you should have an average of around 3 wraparounds. So basically, when we're going to be taping this blue, starting on the stick, it's going to wrap around one part of the stick around 3 times before hitting this edge, if that gives you a better reference of the angle. And then for the blue and white, unlike the red, we don't have to do a full wraparound at the top of the stick before taping down. It's easier to get the angle if you just find where you want to put it right away. And also, it's going to be taped over with white on the top or blue on the bottom anyways, so you don't have to be worrying about how it looks, in terms of where it starts. Without further ado, let's get started getting this blue on. Another good way to scope or the angle of the tape you're putting on for the blue here is that if you're going around with the blue, you want to imagine another strip of white going in the middle because that's how we're going to tape it. And if you think maybe it's a little bit too small, like you're wrapping it too close, go back and try it at a little bit more of a steeper angle because you want to fit a tiny bit of space of this red um, in between the blue and white for that candy cane effect. Here we're reaching about the end, so I'm going to lift up a tiny bit. Then I'm going to cut diagonally this way so that I can keep the angle and I don't have to bend it upwards, but it's not going past the edge of this red design. It's not super important, but with that diagonal cut, when you press it across the stick, see how it's diagonal that way? It's not going past this way, and it's not super high up on this side either, so that when you tape this blue over it, there's not going to be little like parts peeping out onto the other candy cane design. For now, you could set the blue aside. We will need it later. But now we're going to start with our white decal on the candy cane of the stick. So as you first place the white tape on the stick, there's a couple things you want to look out for. You want to make sure that white part isn't entering onto the tip of the stick because you want to keep it right below. And also when you first place the white, you want to keep it equidistant between the two edges of like the blue and red. Chances are it's not going to be perfect, and you'll probably be covering quite a bit of the red at the very top of the stick just by the nature of how it's taped. That's all right because it's not easy to see from farther away, and it kind of just looks natural with the design. So without further ado, we're going to tape the white of the stick. All right, now we got that. We're gonna do the same thing we did before with the blue, that little diagonal cut. So it's staying low on the bottom of the stick, but not past the red line. Now you can start to see the magic of the Cousino candy cane happening. All that's left is taping the very top, the very bottom of the design of the sticks, which are super easy. So for the top, we're gonna do white. For the bottom, we're gonna do blue. So let's get this white back out and just tape a nice ring around. Once you got that taped up, just double check, making sure there's nothing peeking from the bottom or the top there. If that's all good, then you can move on to this part. And once you finish up the blue, there you have it. The famous, iconic Cousino candy cane stick. Just beautiful. Now we can take this thing over to a practice pad and see how it plays. Once again, this was Isaac Reckoway. Thank you so much for watching. Stay clean, Drumline.